Okay, so I'm learning my lesson from last week's video, in that I should do these at least twice, like two of them. I record two and then do one, ahead of time. I said that terribly. Basically, what I mean is that I'll record two videos ahead of time. So this one will be uploaded today, and then the next one will be uploaded next week for Omnibus Fridays. Hell, at this point, I might as well just do the rest of them because we're already at what 20, and we have. I want to say it's gonna be 24. I'm gonna try it, actually. Yeah, it will be 24, 25 because I have 28 DC and Marvel Omnibus. It's total. But I do have some from Dark Horse and some from that don't count as much as that also don't count because Dark Horse is its standard size hardcover. Omnibuses usually are oversized, like deluxe editions. Then one doesn't even count. It shouldn't even be classified as an omnibus because it's soft cover. Standard size soft cover is the boys' ones, which I'll be reading the first one of that next time for the first volume of that for my at home library haul thing. Which that will be. I'll go over that when I finish these books. I might even just upload that video. No, I'm going to at least at Christmas time because it. You'll see it when I upload it, but it's kind of something I'm. It's kind of like my I can't go to the library until at least next month probably. So here's Time Me Over. Here's these books. I'll be reading along with these books, kind of thing. That you'll see as a Christmas haul. But the Christmas books, some of them I'll try and read. But it's kind of like thinking about it. I'm like, well, maybe I should put all it in one video. So it'll be like a huge long video of just me going over a bunch of books. But without further ado, let's get into Omnibus Friday episode 20. I'm going to double check to make sure that I'm right. I am. Episode 20 on the Batwoman Omnibus by Greg Rucka. Now, this one is yet another one that actually isn't. Oh, it doesn't say. Does it even say? I don't think it would say. That's what it officially says. I know it's the Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams series. Now, this is another one where I have read some of it, but I can't remember how much I've read of this omnibus. Because I had, like with a lot of other books, I had these some of the issues somewhere else. Like last week, it was the Marvel Knights one, which I had read the omnibus, like part of the omnibus. But books like Doom Patrol and Batwoman, I read the first few issues somewhere else, and I was like, I'm getting the omnibus, and then here we are today. Now this one collects. Let me show the what's under the cover first, and then we'll go over what it collects. Batwoman, Detective Comics 854 to 863. Batwoman New 52, issue 0. Then it says it again. Batwoman 0 to 24. Batwoman Annual 1. So not a whole lot, and it doesn't even collect all of the New 52 series. Now, it does collect all, hopefully at least, it does collect all of Greg Rucka's Batwoman run. Now, Elegy, so a funny story for Detective Comics 854. When I had picked it up, that was like back in the day when I was just starting out getting comics. It was post Simpsons comics and then pre-Image comics, kind of like that middle ground. I would just get like, oh, Marvel DC book, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, yeah. And I just kind of pick it. And there was a comic store that had a lot of those back issues for $1. And I had picked up Detective Comics 854, thinking it was a Batman story. And the sexist in me was like, oh, Batwoman, that's not going to be good. And I read it and I loved it. I think the first time I read it, I didn't like it as much, but I think the second time I liked it a lot more. Point is that after reading that issue, and I got the Batwoman Elegy book, and then for some reason I got the Batwoman Volume 1 New 52, both of which are no longer in my collection. I did end up giving them to the library guy that he and I exchanged comics with. Speaking of which, I might get, and I don't want to get my hopes up, I might get a really good one from him next week. He had mentioned to me, he's like, oh, you've read this book, haven't you? And I'm like, no, I've been dying to read that book, in fact. He's like, okay, I'll give it to you next week, because we're going for Candy Poker next week. And ironically enough, I did forget to give him the books I was going to give him. I was going to give him my copy of the first 4 issues of the Batman book I was talking to him about, the Batman Reptilian, because I was talking to him about that. I'll give him that, and then I'll give him issue 1 of Breacher. It's a reprint of issue 1 of Breacher. It's a free comic book day, so I don't think it's worth anything. Neither is the Batman books. I was going to give him some Dazzler issues, but I feel like those are going to be worth something. I don't have any, like, super key issues, but I have a few minor key issues that I feel like maybe I should keep. And when Dazzler appears in Deadpool 3, which has almost been confirmed at this point, in fact, I think it is confirmed. There you go. So yes, going back to that, so I had picked this one up, and I had, for $8.54, and I was like, oh, Batwoman, gross, and then ended up really liking it, got the Batwoman Elegy trade, read a few issues of that, on vacation. I remember exactly where I was, too. It was kind of one of those things, it's kind of funny. I remember exactly where I was, and I read it. And I like those too. And I cannot remember if I finished that series. I don't know because I don't have the book with me. I would do my little test. Like, so for this book right here is it's the Spider-Man book I was reading. So I have a little. So I know that I've read this book. And this is how I always know if I've read the book or not. Like my local library, I do this. I have a little flaps. I don't know why I can do some with the Omnibus, but there you go. But that's what I do, and I would know. But that one book is I read books by issue. So each issue, and I'm done, I'll move on to the next book. That's how I'm able to read so many in such a short amount of time. Is that I read 1 per day of each, at least. I try to, and when it gets to 25 books, that's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's a double-edged sword in good and bad. It's good because, I get a lot of books to read, and I for something like this, when I'm waiting so eagerly for Christmas Day, it will at least tie me over until at least Christmas Day. But it's bad because I'm trying to read 25 books per day, and sometimes I want to do more than just read. Now today, because I couldn't read, I only read 1 comic yesterday, because my pupils dilated, and I could have read on the iPad because I could read big text. After a while, I could read big text just fine, and none of the books I have are big texts, so... And some of them could be, but then they go with smaller text, so it'd be kind of difficult. But I only read 1 comic yesterday. So I'm kind of... Today, I'm kind of trying to make up for that. And also trying to finish all those books. But, yeah, something like that is a good example of when I would want to read a lot more books. But sometimes I like a little break. It's like, this week I won't have much of a break, but... I like the days where I would be like, I could do more than just read. And that's why I sometimes hate it when there's 25 books. Hence why, come the new year, I'll have 1 final time, at least, of me getting a bunch of books. Because there's a lot of books I want to get for the next time I go to the library. Like, actually, an official visit, not next week, but an actual official visit to come the new year. After that, I'm going to try and whittle it down to at least 15. It's a manageable number. But it's a lot of prattling on about everything besides Batwoman, so let's get into the... Oh yeah, this is really weird. So, I remember this. So there's a little, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there you go. So, yeah. So each time I open this book, I have to bend it backwards so that paper at the bottom doesn't get wrecked. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but it's the same for me. And then here is the artwork. I like when they do this, too. Here, try and... When they do that kind of like Greg Rucka presents, and then flash to like a scene in the comic, and then by J.H. Williams, that kind of thing. What's this? I don't know, a little bent here, or did I just do myself? Maybe I just do myself. And you would have this. Again, very hard to do this justice, but hopefully you guys can see what I'm trying to show off. But this is really good. This is it's a Greg Rucka series, so obviously it's going to be really damn good. Greg Rucka is one of those authors that the only reason why I don't have everything he's done for Image Comics, which is the publisher I'm getting books from, is because there's so much else I need to, too many other things I need to get. I might just try and do that. There's a book that I could sacrifice, put away, and then exchange it for the Image Comics I need for Greg Rucka. One of the series he's on is actually, I think both of them he's on are both on hiatus. Old Guard and Lazarus, both of which I read. I read all two. I well, the first two at least. I read the first two volumes of his um, Old Guard, and then I read almost all of his Lazarus, which both I liked. Lazarus like was one of those kind of series that the longest time I was saying like, oh, if my library doesn't have it, no skin off my back. It's not that great a series anyways. Um, but I think that's gonna change. I've changed so much with my my views on comics and what I do and don't buy, and budgeting. That goes honestly, I would say it goes back and forth. Like right now, I'm kind of like trying to get more hardcovers and over like kind of compendiums. But I broke that rule with almost completely with my Christmas haul, as you'll see. And those of you guys who are like, well, how do you already know what we got for Christmas? It's only the 21st. Well, it's because I was the one that ordered it. So at least my parents, I know what I'm getting. Which is kind of nice. Like I kind of did hate the days where I was like, oh, they get this one, ooh, they get that one. And it's a mistake that I think my sister made with the books that I gave, the ideas I gave her. And she didn't, and it was affordable too. Like I was actually technically under the budget too. But doing the math on one of the books, I was like, okay, that's not right. Like that shouldn't have been like that. And you'll see what I mean when I go over the books. That's why I'm waiting for a knowledge panel survey, so I can just get the book myself. And then if it so happens that she did get the book that I was worried about her not getting, I can just return it to Amazon and get my $15 back. But that is in the future. So Batwoman Omnibus, I would highly recommend purchasing this. One thing that does kind of piss me off about this book, though, has nothing to do with the actual book itself. It has to do with the mapping of this omnibus. Why couldn't they have given us all of New 52? Because New 52 Batwoman was... I check on here. Oh, by the way, DC Comics is having their Super Everything sale, which I really hate because it's too much. It's like, no matter... Even if I was given a $100 Kindle gift card, I could only spend it on Kindle books, something else. Even that would not be enough to get everything of what I want. Like 50 books is not enough. At least 50, because it's $199 to like what $299. Because it's 3,000 books. I literally think it's everything DC has on their digital comic site or for digital comics. So yeah, let's check the Batwoman. Volume 1. I'm pretty sure it was called Hydrology. That is the New 52 series. The only Marguerite Bennett book I liked, by the way, was her Rebirth Batwoman one. That was Volume 1. Yeah, it was Hydrology. I was right for New 52. Yep, we can give it $199. So annoying. Volume 2 is $299. Okay, so that is J.H. Williams. Okay, so Mark Andreyko, we will go to... Yeah, you only have, like, 2 volumes after the New 52 Greg Rucka series. And yeah, those are $199 each. And it would have everything. It's annoying. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I was right. 40 issues. And here you... Wait, 40? Am I an idiot? No, because I'm not an idiot, because it was 28, right? We said? I know it doesn't collect all of New 52. I remember getting excited when I first bought it, because I was like, oh, I did collect all of it. I bet you any money. No, it's 24. That's right, too. So 20 more issues. Less than 20 issues they couldn't put in this book. Come on, now. I would not have minded paying... Yes, this was $100. I would not have minded paying $125 for this. And it was a Christmas gift, by the way. So it's kind of funny. But that, as I say, is that. I know it was a lot of prattling on about things that weren't even... connected to Batwoman or to whatever I was talking about, but that's my channel for you guys. I want to try and be a channel that, like, if I, like, at least I was talking about comics. I wasn't going and talking about, like, what's the best, roofing to use for your roofs. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about comics, And that's how you do with my channel. I think the thing that I stand out with for more than other things and words. That's the thing I think oops, I just picked that one up. I didn't mean to show that one off. Next week is this, Hulk. That's next week. But what I was trying to say is, like, I want to be the comic, channel, or just YouTube channel in general, that when I'm talking about one thing, I'll go on and talk about another thing. And yeah, it's a bit unorganized, but it's kind of like an unedited kind of thing, where like I can go from talking about Batwoman, talking about Spider-Man, and go back, and then go back and then talk about Greg Rucka, and then saying, oh yeah, Greg Rucka, he's a really good writer. I read this and that from him. And then I'll be talking about the library, because I'm writing for the library. And then I'll be talking about the books I'll be getting next week. And I'll be talking about the books that, for Christmas, and this. And then it goes into, like, so many different areas. But I'm still in the, general subject of comics in general. And I think that's just something that makes me stand out amongst all the other comic book YouTubers. So many of them would not do that. They would edit all that out. So a 14-minute video would be a 7-minute video. And hopefully my YouTube, whatever the fuck, it will give me the right, a good thumbnail. Because they always, with the Omnibus Fridays, I'm not showing the comic for like at least half the video. They'll just do something like this, or that. They won't have me showing off the comic. Like this. Even if I'm making a stupid face like, because they just get me like when I'm talking mid-sentence. Even that's fine, because it at least shows the comic. But that, as I say, is that.